Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament. The spring is in the air, and that means that all the people in the world are outside seeing ducklets and goslings and God knows what else. And that leaves precious little time for Brood War AI development, and that's a bloody shame. So to kick off, let's start with an interesting thing. We've got Egbert, and it's doing a proxy thing versus Cherry Pie, and Cherry Pie has fallen a little bit on the rankings because, well, every one in his grandmother who might be coding Brood War AI is trying to beat it, and of course, although it's pretty good, it is still an AI, and you can only do so much. And the wait is for an update of the AI on the server. From what I've understood, most of the authors are working on machine learning and not so much with coding Brood War AI at the moment, so that might take a while. And let's see what this game is all about, because oh dear, we've even got a handful of SCVs. That's quite a dedicated build order. And we've got some repair on the command center. That's good, because otherwise this drone might take it down eventually. And will this sunken be in time? Yeah, probably. But the entire death train is making its way into the main base, and now going after the spawning pool and after the drones as well. We've got two Zerglings on this end, and they are sort of trying to kill reinforcement with some success. The SCVs are falling, but I think that too many drones are going to fall in this bit of the engagement. The Marines are pretty well microed, only one with a little bit of damage to it, and the SCVs could repair one another. Unfortunately, they are not doing so, and more Marines enter the fray, which leave Cherry Pie with only one Marine and one sunken. And for how long that can go well is anyone's guess. And the SCVs do appear to repair each other, or no, they're attacking larvae. That's always a good idea. Oh, and two drones pop and get executed immediately. So that's very unfortunate. Still, Cherry Pie into the game with one drone and one sunken and one hatchery. The question is, will this bunch of Marines be able to deal with the sunken, or won't it? And I dare say this is another drone, so now Cherry Pie is back into the game with two drones. And of course the third is here still attacking the command center. What's happening more, I don't know. This one barracks still building, the other one, oh, it's now flashing again. And the scouting SCV is making its round. Meanwhile, Cherry Pie rebuilding the drones. And we've got about 8 again, so that's good. And let's see how it will deal with this Terran infestation. Egbert is sort of stuck. Oh no, it's built another depot, so that's very well. And building more and more Marines. Cherry Pie is going for another spawning pool, which is good. I think that it can still... Oh, well, now another SCV has been killed and all the Marines come over. And they should be enough to deal with... Oh, with the drones at least. And with the sunken as well. All the drones coming off the line, and the sunken does a prodigious amount of damage, but in the end it's not going to be enough. Egbert with the sniping build takes down Cherry Pie. Very well done. And good luck on making your bot so that it can do that on a regular basis. Without waiting one more second, we are hopping up into the next game, which will be Mad Mix versus Lucas Moravec. A nice PvP. Haven't spent too much time with PvP. Back in the days, it used to be all about Crazio and Ice, and then TSC Mu came along, and then you got Iron. So that's been the top 3, 4 forever. Then Ice dropped off and TSC Mu dropped off a little bit, and even Iron fell down a little bit because, well, bots used to find ways to deal with it. And that was all very nice and well, but very unfortunate, and this scouting zealot of Mad Mix is taking the entire army of Lucas Moravec on a tour of the map, and meanwhile is, well, we'll see more and more gateways. Not that much different on this side of the map, and it's going to be a tug of war between zealots. So let's look at the army size. Ooh, nice snipe there by Lucas. And Lucas now going with 7 zealots into the fray. Oh dear, one dies. That's nice micro. The zealot of Mad Mix is badly damaged and is going to find itself trapped unless it can do an excellent maneuver, but it can't. And there you go, neither player still has taken the gas. 4 gates here and 3 gates there. This is going to be a pylon and a gas. So it looks like Lucas is going for a little bit quicker tech move. All the while Lucas has got the army advantage, so it should be okay. And also it's better at grouping its units. So every time you see a fight, Lucas's zealots will be in the with superior numbers. Now fighting in the base of Madmix, and the probes having to come off the line, but it's not really working. And although the zealots of Lucas are getting stuck, the worker count for Madmix is getting depleted. It's now only 13, and that's about 10 less. And although a lot of zealots died and took damage from Lucas, I think that with the gas operational and the forge spinning, have we got... no, we haven't got Cyber Core yet. So Madmix not entirely out of it, but its units are not so well grouped as those of Lucas. And, oh, Lucas losing one there, that's uncharacteristic. And this is very bad. If 3 zealots of yours are fighting and the other ones are standing around, that's not good at all. And even though you've got the enemy on the run, you can be sure that reinforcements will be on the way shortly. And then you've got something like this on your hand, where you could have won the first fights quite decisively, and in the end you still have got to run because, well, you didn't really group up again. So what's next? We have got a Cyber Core coming up, and if I'm not very much mistaken, with a small peak must be the +1, with 28 versus 20 workers and, well, 3 gates versus 4. I think that's okay, but the army disparity is coming off in the favor of Lucas Moravec, because you can see that this zealot thing, all the supply, oh dear, and now Lucas is running for reasons I cannot fathom, and it has got some grouping issues as well. These units in the rear are not really catching up as well as they should. Now with goons to zealot fight, but the goons are getting mixed up with the melee units, and then this one's going to fall, and Lucas, well, made some good decisions now going for an expansion. That's good, but Madmix hasn't let off with the zealot production, and Lucas really ought to micro a little bit better, because now it's on the back foot, and I don't think there is going to be a Reaver soon enough. Double Robo Bay, I don't know what they are built. Oh god, that's a lot of upgrades. And if you are going to build so many upgrades, make sure you have at least some units that can use them. And if you have got any units, let them fight, because that's also a little bit of an issue with Lucas Moravec at this point. And when you've got 10 zealots in your main base, and your zealots are running away, you may have +1 and +1 shield starter, but that's also 2 zealots, and oh god, that's 2 shuttles. What the hell is that about? So build order wise, a little bit looks a little bit hard coded to me by Lucas, and could be better served by having some variable build order implementations. All the probes coming off the line, my god, what's that about? But Madmix just going for the gas a little bit later, and is now starting the +1 of its own. Has got a couple of cannons even, and that's not really as adaptive as it is, because what good's a cannon going to do here or here if you've got the enemy cornered? And that is, I think, the game. It's 28 versus 4 army supply, and yeah, well, this goon, will it fire a shot? No, it won't. And Lucas looking good, starting off well, but then lost the plot and kept on executing its hard-coded build order. Or if it's not the hard-coded, it was ODO rather than Robo Bay. And that's just not good. You've got to be a little bit adaptive if your enemy is going to do an all-in zealot build like this. Well, of course, backed up with goons later. And God knows what else, because we're not going to find out, I think. You had better adapt your build order to deal with that a little bit. And that's the GG, and very well played by Madmix. So next game up, we have got, what have we got? Let's do it just like this. We've got TSMU versus Crazio, and of course Crazio is the Terran monster, still 100 ELO points up versus the rest, but there are of course some bots who can beat it occasionally, and one of those is TSMU Terran, which indeed has pretty good odds against Crazio. And let's see if we can demonstrate why that is. Crazio starting out very passively with floating buildings, and only then moving out with a handful of units. TSMU meanwhile has laid a nice minefield and is going for a long distance mine because the saturation in the main is too high. Now pushing back TSMU is Crazio, and TSMU starting the natural. That's very good. Crazio being a little bit late, going for a Wraith. and turret, so playing it very safe again, and I thought it had sort of ceased to do that. And these mines! Oh, the mines are being shot by the Goliaths. They are pretty good at that, but still you've got to have the balls to wade into a minefield, and then fight the enemy units all at once, and then hope you've got enough muzzles left to shoot everything to pieces. Okay, well that can be... the vultures would have killed it anyways, so that's not much of an issue. And yeah, that's a nice shootout, and I think Crazy is going to win that. But I doubt that this one Goliath is going to break the enemy position. SCVs could be a little bit more on point, because they could have easily saved that Goliath, or they still can't anymore. And now the Wraith is suiciding onto Goliath for reasons best known to Crazio himself. Crazio still stuck on one base and building a lot of infrastructure of just one base. That's not really going to come out well in the end, I fear. Worker-wise, TSMU of course more workers, 36 versus 28, and has got its fair complement of production buildings as well. Then again, it's got much more income to build on and off. Now, Crazio, when is it? Oh, wow. Science facility before the natural expansion. That is pretty ballsy. I hope there is going to be use for that. Small peak. Yep, there is a science vessel coming up, and I don't know why that is. That looks to be a little bit of a build order flaw, but versus all these mines, I think you can do worse. Now, TSMU's taking them up because, after all, it's got the better economy, and it's got a 18, 20 versus 10 army supply right now. Crazio investing in Wraiths, which are not really all that good if you use them as a straight-up fighting force. TSMU coming down with the Valkyrie on the 4 floating barracks. Crazio has finally succeeded in taking its natural, and we've got the science vessel and another Wraith, 2 Wraiths. And that is very, very, very expensive, and if you are down in supply already, you better build some beef to your army. Now TSU with a large fleet of vultures, a couple of Goliaths, and the first siege tank. Crazy hasn't got a single tank. That's very uncharacteristic. The science vessel is being set on by this Valkyrie. Valkyrie appears to be having a good game because it also it had been blasting at these floating buildings already, and may do so again. Now it's a little bit of standoff, but of course if you bring the tank to a standoff and the enemy hasn't got a tank, or has got a tank and hasn't got siege mode, where's the siege mode, Crazio? That's not really going to work. So all in all, pretty suspect build order by Crazio. TSMU is checking out the bottom left for reasons and taking a third with a tank for defense, and the Valkyrie is coming home to get repairs. And once it's complete, I think it's going to attack again. TSMU with a single tank, very low on hit points, trying to do the contain. And Crazio sneaking out in SCV, but there are so many mines, TSMU must be aware of that. And of course there may be units. Oh dear, Crazio, that's pretty ballsy. But you have been spotted and you have now been killed. Can't see the command center, good idea. And the thing is, Crazio's not likely to get a third like this because its army is more than... Oh, it's not more, it's less than half of that of TSMU's. TSMU taking 2 more bases. Would be nice to see nukes, but unfortunately it doesn't do so. Its TVT is very, very, very solid. Although this tank is very, very, very stuck. And must be testament to this OpenPW that it can only... it can correctly duplicate this erratic behavior. Large minefield down this side. I think TSMU is trying to zone it out, or there's some kind of logic error. Now these Valkyries and a science vessel of TSMU's are doing the contain. Crazio now up with 3 tanks and supporting units. Big problem is that the main is out, natural is sort of oversaturated. TSMU's got 72 workers and has got more than double the army supply. Oh, and a physics lab. I always like a physics labs because then you have the chance of wraiths. Haha, 3 wraiths all at once. That's very nice. And with some tanks of its own, TSMU stems the tide of the Crazio push. And of course the Valkyrie is trying to go after the science vessel, but should be more worried about those floating buildings because the sight range for Crazio is similar. Thing is, these barracks have much more hit points than these flying paperweights of TSMUs, and that's just going to be all about that. Crazio with a nice position with the tanks should be able to take this third in a mo. Nevertheless, the main is mined out, the natural is oversaturated, and Tisimu, well, main is out too, but it's got the naturals, got the third, got the fourth, got the fifth, and then you've got a nice fat stream of income, and you can see that here in the army supply. It's now 93 versus 25 army supply, and it will have 4 times as much army supply in a moment. And now even taking another base. So Tisimu looking in great shape to take this game. Going to speed it up just a little bit because this is not really an interesting standoff. Tisimu could do with a couple of... wow, look at the production tab. That's really impressive. Lots of tanks, Valkyries, buildings all over the place. 2 Valks at once. Crazio snuck in a command center, but Tisimu's right on top of it with 4 science vessels. Oh, and now a small detachment of the mechanized 4th, and they take down the base. Nice touch. Matrix Wraith 4, I don't know why. And Crazio's 3rd bites the dust again. Now Tisimu closing the gap with the tanks. Crazio can't really do much about that. The natural's getting low as well. And Tisimu has got the map. Oh, that's a lot of... Let's look at the upgrade tab. Tisimu's breaking every... Oh, here's the repair center, it looks like. But not really going to work, is it? But Crazio back to the wall, natural broken, main out. Tisimu taking the game in great style, well done. And let's look now at McRave with the Terran bot. The Protoss isn't there, we're unfortunate, but won't say too much about that anymore. We all know the story. As an opponent for this game, I picked a Purple Swarm, which is the Zerg incarnation of Purple Wave by Dan Gant, of course. And Sparks by Christian McRave also received an update, so let's see how that's going to pan out. Lots of Zerglings in the main through the wall, that's not necessarily good. And the first Marine is thinking better of it and is only now coming back. Perhaps it's waiting for a friend. The SCVs are not really fighting, they are trying to repair, and the Marine is doing something which it shouldn't be doing. Now with 1 Marine engaging, 2 Marines engaging would be even better. Will we see a factory? No, I think we won't. And we've got a Hydra Den and a lair, which will lead to the logical conclusion that we might see Hydras. And now the Zerglings are going after the barracks and the Marines are going after the Zerglings. So I think... Oh well, that's rather silly. I don't know what that's about, but the barracks still lives, not in the red. We've got 2 Marines versus 3 Zerglings, 2 of which are wounded, and more Marines coming up. So Sparks in good position, trying to rebuild some SCVs. Purple Swarm, and oh great, we've got 3 Marines now. The barracks taking some more damage, and the first Hydra coming up. Scouting SCV receiving a little bit of spit from the 2nd Hydra, and the natural started as well. I think though we will see lurkers momentarily, and I don't think that Sparks will be in a position to contest that. Starting a natural command center right after that, lots of money in the bank, and I have to criticize this build order. 2 lurker eggs being morphed in view of the base. But barracks is under attack, 3rd lurker being morphed at the front. And good luck holding this with just 0 Marines and without a barracks. That's pretty awkward. Nice try by Sparks, but I think that this is not going to work at all. We've got 2 lurkers in the natural, 1 outside, and the natural 4 Purple Swarm is up. More lurkers coming, and I can't really see this going well. Nothing happening here, just 1 SCV mining gas. And that's about that, as they say. So next game up, we've got Ice versus Alien, and of course Ice's last update is almost 3 years ago, and Aliens is, well, rather a long time ago too, so that's not too fortunate because it was doing really well. And I took this game because I thought it might be a nice demonstration of how to play ZVT or TVZ, because both players are pretty good at that. And if you are a coder working on Brute War AI, you should probably be doing something about the scouting SCV, even especially if it's breakdancing in your base. And these Zerglings are doing God knows what. Another hatchery in your base, so you've got the natural, and on the high ground another one. with a creep extending through here, then you can place a sunken over there to be safe versus run-bys, and of course you've got the additional larvae, which are always handy to have. Now Ice trying to do this with one bunker, and of course it should be full, and the factory is pretty late. And it's very lucky that these Zerglings don't really go for the throat. They're going to keep their position on the top of the ramp for some reason, and now they are doing something about their scouting SUV. Have they got speed? No, they haven't got speed, and that's just a really wacky build by Alien, giving Ice the chance to put up another bunker. Ice, of course, did see with the scouting SUV the number of Zerglings there were, immediately reacting by building more bunkers. Oh god, and the bunkers are entirely badly placed. Oh, that's so uncharacteristic. And Ice, now struggling, is building a machine shop, but would have liked to have a couple of vultures standing by. And, well, Ice probably thought it would be safe with the 2 bunkers, but unfortunately it's not. And Alien now going for more hatches, going to mine gas in the natural. The saturation is okay worker-wise, it's 23, and the main reason for that is that the main base of Ice is full of ravaging Zerglings, and the main base will be torn down record speed. Any more happenings in the Zerg part of town? No, not really. Going for a Hydra Den. Nice can on top of that, but unfortunately the SUVs are trying to save the main base. That's not going to work. And now we've got 2 bunkers which will need some doing to demolish, but Ice hasn't got any money. It's got 1 worker, but it's over here, and it should now try to bring it back, but unfortunately it's still on the scouting mission, and that is very, very, very unfortunate, if I might say so. And now it's even going into the natural, and I don't know why, but should be trying to bring it back to its own base. And oh, it's going into its own main, so that's very unfortunate. Ice, this you're not going to get back now. Ice is in a bit of a quandary. Alien taking bases all across the map. Lots of Zerglings, and the Zerglings of course are getting a little bit damaged because they can't all fit on the ramp. Gathering forces, I'd say it would have enough to bust these 2 bunkers. Has it got any upgrades? Yep, lots of upgrades, and now it's going for it. That's the GG. Ice with a little bit of a mistake on the building placement and loses to Alien, but well deserved, well played by Alien. Now we've got Iron versus Purple Wave. And, well, of course, Purple Wave. Dan has not really found that much time to work on it, which is unfortunate. Same can be said for Igor Dimitrievich. And now let's see what is going to happen. We've got 1 goon over at the choke, doing a little bit of damage. Should be up on the high ground trying to kill the SUVs. That might actually work. And 1 is retiring for some reason, because we've got is that going to be a bunker rush by Ironbot? I didn't know it could do that. Then you should bring back a couple of goons. And now going after the SUV. What's more is happening? We've got a tank. We've got probably siege mode coming up. Yeah, there it is, siege mode. And the tanks should then be positioned over here. We've got this bunker, but it's not really doing anything. There are no marines anywhere. Well, there is 1 here, but it's not going to make its way over anytime soon. And Iron is standing around with that siege tank, and I can't really imagine why. Now Purple Wave tearing down the bunker, and that's quite a nice number of goons to contain these vultures, which by now will have mines, so shouldn't let them out too much. Here come the reinforcements, and now only the natural of Ironbot is safe. And oh dear, playing Minesweeper with goons is probably not the best idea. Oh god. Okay, well, that's also an interesting way to throw an advantage. Nevertheless, the natural's up for Purple Wave, and Iron's push isn't all that great really. It was delayed significantly at this small contained by the goons, and although there are 3 factories, I'd say with the goons and all the eco it's got, and we might have a couple of more gateways really, because that's pretty late, and we've got to, you are going to be up versus goons, versus tanks and vultures with the mines. And then you are going to have to fight really hard, and a couple of zealots might come in handy as well. And you can see the tanks dishing out the damage, and every inch those Dragoon seed is immediately mined by the vultures. And then everything is going to be repaired, and that's a lot of tech, but you're now with your back against the wall, eating mines left and right. We've got 3 tanks at the front now. Iron not even deigning to take a natural, mining up all the expansions as usual. But that's a really nicely executed push, and Purple Wave is not really up to it. A couple of goons, but they're not enough, and the Observer can witness the demise of the natural. What's left in the main is not really enough either. These goons should be rather more careful than to just flip around here. Oh, and that is a very, very, very lucky Dark Templar. 4 mines chased it, but then, oh, there we go. Doesn't really work at this point, I don't think. So, no. So, Iron sticking to 1 base, having mined all the bases but 1 now, and of course the natural. Oh, the natural's also mined. Haha. Oh, and this vulture must have been out of mine. So that's the GG. Purple Wave, not really enough to throw down ice, and the next game will be Siege or Overkill versus Goliath. Goliath, of course, from the University of Carlos III from Madrid, the class which delivered some of these bots, mainly Goliath and Egbert, which are any good. The rest really is a bit flappy. And Siege Overkill burst onto the scene last year with a 3rd place at CRG. After that, nothing much happening anymore, which is a shame because there was still a lot of potential in it. And we will see how it's going to play out versus this latest Terran incarnation of Goliath. Goliath with 2 Marine checking the Scouting Overlord, and then we've got the hatch first, then a pool, and lots of workers. Appears to be a very quick sunken, and I think it's nicely placed, and that's not easy. Oh god, they're just letting the scouting SCV anyways. So we've got 6 Marines, which should be enough. And yeah, looks like they are. Goliath with 13 workers trying to get stuff done. Might plant a bunker, would be safe, because if the enemy is going to do a Zergling push, you're going to be in a bit of a quandary, and that's not good for your health at all. Small peak, yep, it's going to be a Spire. Quick lair, no Hydroden, so quick Spire for Siege Shoes Overkill. And 2 Marines are now coming up, but they haven't really grasped the concept of not running up to a sunken colony if you're only in a squad of 2. Now, Goliath doing everything with only 1 barracks, that's pretty brave. And you can see a little bit of money stacking up. You've got 800 gas, and if you're not going to do anything with that, that's a bit of a loss. So, could be a little bit better. Spire for Overkill momentarily will be finishing, and now we've got more Marines, and looks like we've got another barracks coming up, and also an academy, so that's always nice to have. We have a handful of neuters, which may come in handy because these 2 Marines are coming up, and a 3rd base started for Overkill. Overkill taking its time. Finally, a 2nd barracks for Goliath, and now the neuters with atrocious micro just fly straight over the Marines without landing a single shot, taking a lot of damage, losing one of their friends, and the neuters are finally engaging, but not head on. That shouldn't be the way you do it. And now are going into the worker line, but unfortunately they're not killing or trying to kill any workers. Oh, finally they're going to kill workers, that's good. And Marines from Goliath are not trying to save them, but fortunately Overkill is so sloppy it loses a lot of neuters. And, well, by now I think Goliath has held. It's got a 23 versus 10 army supply, and most of the army supply for Overkill is in badly wounded neuters. Going for a 3rd or a 4th. Must be really a 4th hatchery. But as a Zerg you always need the larvae, and Cherry Pie really goes overboard with building extra hatcheries. But as a rule of thumb you should have about 2 for any expansion you've got, that would be nice. And now the neuters are in again, but God, there is a couple of Marines, but mostly fire bats and medics. And the small bioforce is coming up. The sunken is falling, and Marines now fleeing from 3 to 4 neuters. Okay, well, what have you, but easily could have done a lot of damage either to the neuters or the drones. Now the 3rd is somehow rather insufficiently saturated, I would say. And it looks like Goliath isn't really rebuilding workers, so the workers are all sort of stupid. And then you're sitting there with 1750 gas, and the mutas are all over you. So that's the GG. Overkill, taking down Goliath. Goliath, lots of work to be done, but still no shame in falling to Overkill. It's a very good bot indeed. And I thought, well, let's have a look at another Zerg. We already had Alien, and last week we had a lot of Microwave and Killer Bot. And I thought, well, let's look at the other Zerg. So I took Zer for a ride and took one of its replays versus Nightcat Protoss. Nightcat, of course, the big game Hunter's mod. I received word. Oh, that's pretty nice. Might delay the build order of Nightcat significantly, if it will pick up the build order again, that is. But I had word from Nightcat that it had managed to build a bot which controls 3 races in a team melee or a team FFA. Unfortunately, the OpenBW software isn't really capable of showing that. So, as I don't really have Brute War installed at the moment, I fear it's pretty hard to show that to you. But I'm working on it, and hopefully I can manage that next week or the week after that. Meanwhile, Zer going to do everything on one base, and Nightcat has quite a bit of Zealots, so that's always very good. Have you got any upgrades for these Hydras? Yep, we've got speed, so they can out-micro the Zealots. Same cannot be said for the Goons though, and the Goons will have range momentarily, so that's good. And Zer is really going with the one base Hydra trick. And I don't know how successful this is going to be. We've got one dead Zerg lying over there, and now all the Hydras are running from Zealots, which is mysterious because you should be able to out-micro them, especially if you're in with about 10. But Hydra's ceding a lot of ground, and Nightcat Protoss taking another base, defending the third for reasons, but now, oh, finally the Hydras are turning, but they're not really kiting, they're just fighting, and once the fighting started, the Zealots thought the better of it and moved out. I think this is going to be possibly the latest Zerg Natural I've seen for a long time, only 15 workers still. Protoss already at double that number, and a third base started, but the Hydra count is pretty good. Have we got this range upgrade as well? Yep, we've got that as well, but we've got so many Goons, these Hydras would be very wise not to engage that too much. All the losses will be significant, and there go 4. And now they shouldn't just run, they should try to kite this small push down, and then try to do something about the macro, because that's a pretty late natural, which even now is not finished. And as far as build orders go, one base Hydra into Evo Chamber, into a lair, into a very late expansion, I think is not really a valid build, and that's a nice bit of micro. Problem is though that Nightcat's army is very large indeed, and is now going, it looks like, for an observer. Yep, there we go. Only 3 gates and 3 bases, could do with a little bit more gates, but perhaps is also going for Reavers. And this is quite a nice army. And the Hydra phalanx is going to find itself caught, and will be cut up badly, if not completely. Oh, there it goes. Now they only run, and they're stuck in their little necks a little bit too far. And are all dead, so it's 50 versus 7 army supply. Natural up for Zer. Finally, we've got a sunken starter. That's pretty well done, but it's about 10 minutes too late. Now, Protoss, I don't know what it's doing. It started at 4th. It's got a huge army, or relative to Zerg anyway. Let's see if we are going to get any Reavers. No, just a bunch of gateway units, more probes and more gateways. So Zer is going to feel the pressure momentarily when Nightcat has got its infrastructure set up. Lots of money in the bank, could do a couple of rounds of Zealots or Goons or whatever, and then try to roll with that. Could even build some Reavers. Oh, and it's got hello, it's got the Templar tech as well. Got some more gateways and is now not producing a single army unit at all. Another Nexus, wow, that's pretty ballsy. But of course it's still got 60 versus only 20 army supply. And Zer is really not in the best shape, looks like. Lots of upgrades, but barely any units. Oh, we've got Storm, so that's good. And even if McRave is no longer with us, we may still see Storm. That's 5 observers doing damn all in the main base. Lots of probe activity, but the army is just sillying about, and not really doing too much. Another sunken by Zer, going for some kind of defense, and this must be another hatchery, so I think it can do something still, but it's going to be very hard if you've got 2 bases and enemy's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is a significant amount of gateways, and 1 more coming as well. Now we've got High Templar, they have got Storm, decent normal upgrades for Protoss as well, more High Templar too. Might build some gateways at the expansions, but Protoss for all intents and purposes is now maxed. Isn't building anything. Yep, a couple of pylons and a load of goons and another gateway. Ooh, and now the Hydras are coming down, but there are only 37 Hydras. More are coming. Oh, this is pure Hydra, so this will be easy to count. So we've got 38 Hydras, and the Protoss army is... wow, that's an impressive... If it ever comes to that, I think that Zer is going to have to face a lot of storms. And with 41 Hydras, I think it's going to be hard for Protoss to break that. You can see the goons they can reach those Hydras, but they aren't really doing the damage they ought to. And Zealots at this point just evaporate. We've got 40 Hydras, hello, and a 3rd base started by Zer. Nightcat, where the hell is your Templar Corps? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, that's about 12, that's 24 supply in full energy High Templar. These Hydras are very stupid, the other ones are pretty clever and are tearing down the natural for Protoss. And now another base being taken, a little bit of army still hanging around here, army there. But it would be very convenient to have some army here to stop the demolishment of your natural nexus. And by now the Hydra count is so big that they can basically one-shot stuff, and that's not good, but they leave the nexus alone. That's so very unfortunate. I don't know where they're going. I think to the defense of the natural, and now the Templar train is coming up. Unfortunately, there are only Sunkens at this point, so that doesn't really work. And Zer hasn't got enough. Oh, hatcheries. Oh, and the Overlord's getting stormed. Continuous storm. The Templar gets stormed as well. The Templars are storming the Sunkens and are getting stormed from the rear. And we still have got about 10 storms left, if not more. So that is a lot of storm. Unfortunately, 1 on the drones might be nice for special effects. No, not going to see that. Nightcat finally has found the attack and is rolling up the natural with ease. It's well, pretty low on army supply because it's got 90 workers. And the Hydras on the ramp are doing okay, but every Hydra that is going to fall cannot now be replaced. Oh, nice, nice. Oh no, the Templar are just going to get shot, but the main is in tatters, and the 3rd is still operational. It's got 1 sunken. Would be nice to plop down a couple more, just to buy some time. These Hydras are doing okay, and are taking down a huge amount of High Templar, but the Zealots in the end will be too much. Oh, and the Overlord gets stormed and all, so that's pretty pro. Natural survives, barely. And Nightcat has rebuilt all the workers it needs. It's got 89 again, and that is enough to be going on with, surely. Scouting 4 enemy bases, not this one unfortunately, and will Zer be able to rebuild? I think it will, but for how long, that's the question, because I think that Nightcat will find it eventually. Although all the observers, the 5 we had, are still here, and now they find the enemy base. And you'll see the entire might of the Protoss death train is advancing upon the Zerg position, and that can only result in one thing, that's the GG, hopping up into the next game, which will be, God, not this again, which will be Haupan versus Forcebot. Both of them received an upgrade, and well, Forcebot, I really admire it because it's the best exponent of the Gold Project of the Tech University of Delft. And of course it has got quite low APM, which I applaud it for. Most bots you see racking up 20, 30, 40, 50,000 APM to get this AI ball rolling, and Forcebot is at the moment content with just 120, 250, going to touch, no, not going to touch 300, just going back to sit around 200-ish for a bit, and now even dropping to 150. So I really like that, and that's a nice wall off by Hao Pan, and it must be commended for that, because that's not an easy thing to do, even though the scouting SUV can't really get out. Oh, and now it can, with 2 Marines, and I think that Forcebot will be prepared for this. Hopefully we'll be prepared for this. Oh, and the Marines are going in the wrong direction anyway, but perhaps they're going to find this Overlord, which might be a little bit of a setback for Forcebot. Doesn't really seem to have been planning that, and yeah, there you go, is supply blocked already, and is now building 1-2 Overlords, so that shouldn't take too long, but still nice find by these 2 Marines that you've got this Overlord down to its knees. And behind this, Hao Pan is going for gas, an academy, and another depot, and a comsat, so that's pretty nice. Scouting SUV being thwarted, drone transfer still very good, and now 900 APM, that's quite a lot for Forcebot, but perhaps it has decided to spend some more APM and get things rolling a little bit quicker, because that was one of the main issues. It was a little bit sluggish in doing things. You see these units, when they pop, they stand around for a second, and only then are going to be given the command to get some useful work done. Now a lot of Zerglings approach the Terran lines, no natural yet. Let's look at the upgrades. Have we got any upgrade? Yeah, we got Zergling speed, but nothing on the Terran end. So with Stim, these Marines would be a lot more deadly. Now with another barracks, I think the Hao Pan is in a good position, because that's very hard to break. We've now got 2 staging areas for small Zergling armies, and we're going to see Hydras as well. Lair has been started, another in-base hatchery. I always like that. And now the Marines and Medics are trying a little bit of a skirmish with these Terran forces. Unfortunately, the principle of a skirmish is that you fight back, and if you only run, that cannot really go well for all that long. And you're going to get killed with 0 damage to the enemy forces, and that is sort of leaving your natural wall exposed. And although these Zerglings and Hydras aren't the most deadly, in the long run it's just not a workable solution. Third base now started at the top right for Zerg, and with the Hydra coming up, I think, wow, these Zerglings are being thrown away left and right. That's not good at all. Because if you do this for too long and lose too many Zerglings, and the Hydras don't get any work done, because the wall's being repaired, actually, the Terran may move out with a little bit of death ball. No upgrades yet. Oh, we've got the Lurker upgrade, and the Hydras and the Zerglings are doing things already, so I don't even know if these Lurkers will be required. The Medics are too far off, they're not fighting in tandem with the Marines, that's very unfortunate, and the Hydras just march in, and without any contention by these Marines and Medics, they roll up the enemy base. So third base up, and of course, oh, that's nice, that's another hatchery. Drone count is okay for Forcebot 40. A little bit of smallish army, but hey, if the enemy doesn't want to fight your Hydras, there is no problem, right? So yeah, very unfortunate. And the third base saturated and all. Any cute upgrades coming from Zerg? No, just Hydra stuff. One Hydra standing around, drone standing around, and only after a while do they get the command to move. And the longer the game lasts, I have the impression the longer these units take to move out or to get cracking. And floating this command center is not going to save you. That was Forcebot beating Hao Pan. So in the penultimate game of today, we've got Simon Prince versus TCMU Zerg. And well, while we have a good Zerg day, I thought, well, let's not exclude TCMU Zerg because it's so very entertaining. And it's going to do an 11 pool, then a gas, rather late expansion. Simon Prince's tier is going for a okay-ish placed bunker. Doesn't really have choke detection or doesn't do anything with that, and you can't protect your command center from here anyway, so that's interesting placement. Now taking up position at the natural choke, that's very well done. This bunker is better placed, could do with an eBay over here to channel the links or whatever's coming in through here. TCMU now with 4 sunken colonies, my goodness. And this drone looks like it's got some serious issues in finding a place to outpost, the third, but the other one, other way round, does succeed, and TSMU is just winging it with 2 army supply. Now, the same must be said for Simon Prince, because it's only got 9, and that isn't all that spectacular either. So, yeah, there we go. Lots of medics, marines. What's in production? More of the same. TSMU pulling all the stops, drones, hatches, and now is in a peculiar position because it's only got that same 2 army supply. It's got the 4 Sunkens, but I'm sure it would feel much happier if it had some actual units. It's got the +1 started, the Hydra damage started, and only now have we got another muter, so that is really winging it with army, or without an army more likely, and then taking up to Hive on 2 army supply and half a muter. So this Ling is in good position, keeping check on nothing because it's got limited sight range, and now TSMU with 2 muters on the warpath, and there is a tank out which they could catch, but they are not doing so. Ooh, and now we've got these muters trying to help them fend off the marine push. The Sunkens are doing most of the damage, but these muters are pretty good and all, although they are getting a precious bit low, and that's not really the best use you could have gotten out of your muters. The tank, though, is completely defenseless for anything coming from above, the little heathen. And now Simon Prince is preparing the next push. Pretty safe, as happy as a clam in a shell with the tanks and the marines, and even, of course, this bunker which is still there. So should be okay for the near future. TSMU sitting back, building a fair lot of Sunkens, but not really as many hatcheries as it could. And is getting by with 20 army supply. Now these Lings and Muters snipe this bit of the army, which is good. The main army, though, oh, this medic force shouldn't be cut off, because without the medics, this marine thing would be substantially weaker. But now the marine thing's pretty strong, and the muter count is pretty low. So without fighting in perfect tandem with the Sunkens, I think it's going to cost you a lot of blood. But TSMU is breaking down tier like it is nothing. The marines only seem to die. The medics, well, 2 still live. 1 still lives, and the other 1 still dies as well. Tier has still got this thing going. An SCV has been built, has walked itself in. That's unfortunate. Now TSMU is all over it with the harassment. Army supply is dead equal now, and TSMU really ought, yeah, whoa, that's pretty ballsy, taking it in the enemy path. Because as soon as this party hosts flag and moves out, it is going to be hard to stop with the Stimp Marines, the tanks, and you've got your 4th base over here. That's not really... well, if you were to place it here or there, and then you saw the Terran army move over here, you could try to flank it, and this is just going to be a straight up push. And the muters of TSMUs are getting pretty low and taking a lot of damage. Yeah, we've got a queen as well, that's pretty cute. I don't know why, but I always like queens, even if they are not being used at all. And this push of Terrans is pretty good. TSMU only on 30.5 army supply. Of course, has got a little bit over here, has got 1 queen. Hasn't really rebuilt the defensive position, moving out with another one. Oh, we've got a Defiler, that's cute. But as I feared, this expansion is now under fire by the 1st Infantry Corps. And although Tyr's main is getting low, this Terran army is pretty strong. It's really pretty strong indeed, and you've got a lot of potential sitting back at home as well. So TSMU for the time being keeping its distance, got a lurker trying to harass, but these Lings and Muters moving in and out are not really working all that well. The lurkers would be a little bit better. Now we've got this Defiler, is casting a nice swarm, so it should be commended for that. More Lings coming up, they are running to the Defiler to their death. Will we see another cute swarm? Yeah, that's also a nice one. And now Tyr is having to beat the retreat. Oh dear, and another Defiler here. So, yeah, the push is leaving through the bottom path, and through the top path this expeditionary force could be cut down. Medics are not yet empty, oh dear. And now TSMU is in a bit of a quandary because it's about half the army supply. got a fair number of queens, there's a couple of scourge, a couple of defilers, but it's not really working, I would say. And Tyr is okay as long as it doesn't lose a big battle. I think it can reinforce. It's now more than doubling TSMU's army supply. The Hydra Ling isn't getting anything done, barely killing a couple of Marines every now and then. Catching a couple of medics, that's good, because then there is only one medic, and if another good plague hits, then this Marine Corps is in a lot of trouble, and you can see it already. The only medic is in the rear, and these Marines at the front haven't got any hope in the world of getting healed. Are going to find the new bases by TSMU, but you can see TSMU coming back a little bit in army supply. Used to be 20 versus 60. And oh, another base by TSMU. So TSMU doing okay, having given up this hope of taking the middle base, or has it? Looks like it has. And although this base is going to fall, this expeditionary force is really exposed, and we've got this lurker, handful of muters, zerglings. Oh, the lurker gets irradiated, but these Marines are trying to walk out of this. And although the lurker is irradiated, I don't really see that this is the best possible path to take for the Terran army. And these vessels ought to be really careful, because now you've got this huge concave, you've got a couple of defilers. Where are they? I saw one. Oh well, there is one anyway, or there was one. A couple of queens, we've got the Dark Swarm, we've got the Ensnare, we've got the double Ensnare, and TSMU just DMing it at this point. Tanks in the rear doing pretty good versus the lurkers, and the medic wall is holding tight, but already Simon Prince is losing a little bit, and that may have something to do with the main being out, and this is a lot of lost Zerglings. TSMU lost a lot over there, but with the 63 workers and all the bases operational, it can reproduce its army quite quickly now, even taking this base over here. The Air Force is in place, and is this going to be an Ultra Cavern, or what is it? Looks like a hive or something, or a lair. That's pretty weird. Now Terran is moving out again, and of course with the swarms it can be in a good position, but the problem is that all the damage doing units are being eaten by the defilers. But this Terran force is looking pretty weak, and will they be able to take down this base in the top left? TSMU is going for the containers, not really trying to defend this base at all, but there is no medic, and the science vessels die, the Marines die, the defiler is over there. Yeah, nice irradiating your face, but the fact of the matter is that TSMU is rapidly catching up in army supply, has got the contain, and oh, everything is green and yellow and sick, and there may be even swarms in the near future. Here we go. Where are the defilers? These closely clustered Marines. Oh, this is a very ugly swarm indeed. This defiler is really paying for its, well, its meals really, because set off to the cost, and another plague goes down, and another ensnare. These medics are having a hell of a job. Another plague, and now Zerg is pushing in. No swarms because there are a lot of hydras over here. The SCVs are trying to come off the line, but are being blocked by this tank. The tank dies, and now it's Hydras versus SCVs. The vessel cloud is falling, and this one is hanging here with a sliver of health. Then gets spotted finally by these ravenous Hydras, and TSMU is rolling this in style. My goodness, what a brutal beast. And I can't really see why it would be long distance mining gas from here, but you've got to give it credit for just being weird. It's a good skill to have, shall we say. So TSMU has broken the enemy. Let's hop into the last game of today, which will be Reaver versus Eric Hammer. And it's always nice to see Eric Hammer, although this, the developments sort of stopped after being able to take down Iron regularly. It's still a pretty good AI. It has got all the tricks in the book. And the same can be said for Reaver. Of course, impeccable micro with the Reaver and the shuttle, still the best in the game, even after not having been updated for 1.5 years. And let's see how this game is going to play. 9 hatch, 9 pool for Arakhammer. It's an okay build, I think, because you get a little bit earlier access to more larvae. And with the pool you can hold off anything that's not for pooling. Couple of lings coming up, and there we go. Reaver is going for one gate and then into tech, and only then the second gate and one zealot, so two zealots. I must have missed one. Yeah, there it goes. And that's a lot of zerglings, so I think that if you trade one ling for one zealot you're losing a little bit of money. And this one should be heading back home pretty soon, back to the safety. And that's another gateway, but it's going to be pretty tight for Reaver because these zerglings are coming up, and there is only there are two zealots now on the high ground. That's good. Ling shouldn't be able to get in that quickly. More lings are coming up. Natural is up. Drone count pretty low. Probe count pretty okay, 23. The name of the game for Reaver now is to get a little bit of a fighting force going. But with 3 zealots on the high ground, you can hold off a substantial amount of things. 2 creep colonies for Zerg, I think that's a little bit much. Might have better spent that on... well, could have spent it on another hatchery. Arakaman just needs drones at this point. It's got 18, might have more. But it's wasting drones and minerals on these creep colonies. Even though the scouting SCVs, by now there are scouting SCVs as they're not harassing, are still out there, and they would advise the Protoss HQ immediately should any enemy action come up. Now we see the bread and butter of Reavers. We've got the shuttle, we've got the robo facility and the robo bay, and there will be no doubt that the Reaver is brewing. So Arakaman, what are you going to do? Oh, we've got a Corsair just doing a little bit of damage to the Overlord, and now the Protoss army is moving out, moving down the ramp, taking home these SCVs, and this Corsair is getting some valuable scouting information, I should say. And now, on the spur of the scouting information, these creep colonies are being morphed to sunken colonies, and with 5 sunken colonies you can hold off quite nicely while you gather your air forces. You should take them to the map in tight formation though, because we've got quite a number of goons already, and you can't really attack this way, even especially not with the Corsair out. This third base by Arakaman is going to be shot to pieces. The Reaver is there, and unfortunately the shuttle doesn't want to have any affiliation with it. Problem for Zerg though is that this Corsair and a goon thing is really wasting the mutant count, and the mutants are now free to pursue their own businesses, and 4 are rolling up the front, but with 3 cannons here, 1 here, couple of goons out, no more Corsairs coming. That's unfortunate because I always like Corsairs, they bring a bit of flavour and of course map control to Protoss. These mutants will have to flee now. That's a lot of Zerglings though, but versus a Reaver I can't really see that work. And I can't also understand why the shuttle is not picking up the Reaver and trying to veer out the back. Ooh. That's a nice touch. That's a spore colony right there. And of course that might protect it from 2 solicitous Reavers. Then again, the Reaver with the 46 army supply versus only 20 of Zerg. And Zerg can't really pick a fight. Have we got +1 for Protoss? No, we haven't. And that I find surprising, because if you see a lot of Zerglings, that would be such a boon to have. The mutants are coming out to fight the goons, but they're not really succeeding, and 2 mutants versus 2 Sairs doesn't really work. Lots of bases being taken by Zerg, and Protoss will have to pounce now, because if it lets Zerg get away with that, and it doesn't look like it is, but if you were to do that, you've got, dear, you've got a lot of bases facing you, and with the Corsairs, Protoss has got things well under control. Is this going to be a spore or a sunken? Momentarily, the base will need both. 3rd base under heavy attack, and only 15 army supply by Zerg now. That said, the main bulk of the Protoss army isn't there yet either, so that's not too bad. But more units are sweeping in, and this base may then survive for the time being. Losing the 3rd is not something that Zerg can afford at the moment. We've got 2 shuttles over here. They're not having anything to do with the Reavers. The Corsairs keep tight tabs on these buildings, and now the Reaver has also taken a 3rd. Zerg third still there, and the fourth of course is operational and mining somewhat. And Protoss really can't decide where to attack. Now trying to attack the third again. We've got a High Templar. That's always good. We also got we had a Lurker. It's now Storm and dead. And with the goons, we have another Lurker over here. And it should keep his ugly head down, because if it catches one Scarab or Storm, it's going to be pretty dead. And even now it's losing a lot of hit points to the goons. Yeah, oh, Storms and Scarabs. That will settle that Zerg. And still with 70 versus 18 army supply, so it's at this point not much that can go wrong for Protoss. The Reavers are slowly making their way. The Storm is beating back the units, and every time you have this 300 damage flying into your face as a Zerg, there is only one thing you can do, is run away or call the Air Force. But there are so many Corsairs, it doesn't really work, and Reaver is just taking this game gloriously. We've now got 2 shuttles, they're not doing anything. Reaver building a lot of gateway units and lots of Scarabs and a fleet beacon as well. Lots of drones now for Zerg, not really going to work. We've got one more, we had one more Lurker. And now the last defensive structure is dead, and only a handful of Hydras, but there is so many Scarabs being fired that for Hydras it's not really a fun game anymore to play catch. The probes are trying to do with the Zealots what they can, but unfortunately they are not really able to do much. And this death train of Protoss is just rolling into the natural, nothing can stop it. Is a defensive strategy being formulated? Yes, but it's being overrun by the Zealots already. Now, this base has been taken down while I wasn't watching, and I think that the Reaver shows it can pack quite a punch still. So this was this week's Student StarCraft AI tournament. If you see a good game during the week, do recommend it to me. It's my email right at the top. And also I'd like to thank our sponsors to help us out financially for the new hardware. So, yeah, this was this week's recap. Enjoy the spring, have a nice day, and see you again next week. Goodbye!